Good afternoon, wonderful fellow sister Rotarians. It's a fabulous day in Akron, Ohio, and we're so excited to be together here at this wonderful organization. So thank you for coming. It's so good to see everyone. With that introduction, if you wouldn't mind, please, we'll stand for the pledge and our four-way test and our invocation by Doug Cole today. So thank you so much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And our four-way test: is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you so much. Doug, please.
As I was driving over here today, I was looking through the community and I was reminded of Dr. Martin Luther King's words about beloved community. And beloved community is a community where power is present with love and love is present with power, and we do great things for our community. Our board just sat through a process of supporting worthy organizations with our annual grants through the foundation. And I thought of beloved community. So let's just take a moment to pray and reflect in your own way, in your own tradition. God, we just thank you for being here today. We thank you for the organization of Rotary. We thank you for all the good things, service above self, that people in Rotary are doing in the community. We thank you for our camp and the almost 100 years of history of serving children with special needs through the Rotary camp. What a unique thing we have here, right here in Akron, our beloved community. So guide our steps today so that we might always do good things, not for ourselves, but for others. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Thanks, Dan.
That's just going to be
Thanks, I appreciate that. So Connor's doing double, triple duty today. So Connor, any guests?
We do not have any guests other than our speaker, who will receive her own introduction. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then for those online, are there any guests online? I did not think so, but okay, cool.
No, but we do have a lot of people online today.
Yep. So Cheryl, do you notice any guests, or Terry?
No, we have 9 people online today.
Okay, great. Well, thank you all of those that are online. You've been officially greeted. And everyone here, thanks for being here. Bridget will get her own introduction here shortly.
Thank you, Connor. Thanks to our people for being online today also. Welcome to everyone. I hope everyone had a joyous and safe Easter. I know our friends here at the Greek Church, this is their Holy Week. So this Sunday will be their Easter. So we'll offer them praise and celebration during their Holy Week and wishing them a happy Easter. And some announcements as we move forward into our exciting month of April. Just a reminder, we do have the Akron Food Bank on Wednesday, April 26, 4:30 to 6:30. So please add that to your calendar. Tom Knauer, would you just like to mention about 2 things that happened at the board meeting for members, please?
I was distracted, Tom.
We approved a new member today, John Burkett. You'll be introduced to him once he's inducted within a week or 2. And the board also approved money to fund 3 grant projects. So we'll learn more about those as well. Very exciting. Thank you.
We're really excited. So we'll be adding 2 new members to our membership. So we're moving forward, and that's fabulous to hear. Again, SOS to our fellow Rotarians, please register for the scholarship dinner on the 25th here at the church from 5 to 7. The deadline is the 18th. We need to have more people, please sign up, especially our board. So if you haven't signed up, please do so. It's $25. Will be a fabulous buffet, and we look forward to saying congratulations to our young students that will receive scholarships from the Rotary Club.
President Linda, does that replace our club meeting that week also?
Yes, it will, Cheryl. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We will have that as a replacement, so we will not have a meeting during the daytime on that Tuesday, but it'll be replaced by the evening meeting. So again, this is an opportunity to join in our celebration of our scholars. And again, thank you. We will not have a regular noon meeting that day, so it will be an evening meeting. So thank you for that. Also, April's just full of exciting things for all of us. Our district conference is the end of the month, the 28th and the 29th. It's a Friday, Saturday. If you can attend on Friday, please join us on Saturday. Lots of great things are going to be happening. Fabulous speakers from literally around the world. So please look at the registration, and it's online. And it'll be a great celebration of Rotarians here in Northeast Ohio. And then Dan Reynolds, I know Dan's got a mouthful, but we have a cleanup day at the camp. So Dan?
Come join us for Camp Cleanup Day, Saturday the 22nd. Can't wait to see you at camp on the 22nd. You got an email, you should be able to register online. Thanks.
And you can come for just a little bit of time because it starts at 9 and goes till 2 or whenever.
Yeah, whatever it says online.
Whatever it says online, okay? So come for all or part of it. So it's a fun day. It's lots of fun, and just sign up online and show up and enjoy a cleanup camp. It's a fun time. Looking way ahead to the dragon races, our 9th annual Dragons on the Lakes. Brian Casarco is our lead captain, and we're excited about supporting that again this August. So Brian, anything you want to add to that, sir?
Just anybody who's interested, just let me know and we'll start putting on team lists.
We'll start building our team.
Fun.
So it'll be a great, it's always a great day, especially being on Portage Lakes. So something to really look forward to. And we have a host family, Susan, for a exchange student for next year, correct?
Yes, we have a family, but I'm looking for 2 more families. So if you know of anyone in Stowe, you can help us out by, giving us a nod, and we can recruit them for next year. And I guess we have information about Manny in South Korea. Okay. Yes, and I saw his picture with him traveling with the other international students, Rotary International students. So looks like he's having a great time.
So we'll be excited to have Manny back home from Korea and fill us in on his experience in South Korea. So an exciting time to be there. So thank you for that. Well, we have some really big news. As you had alluded to, our wonderful grant committee, headed up by Sandy Narragon, presented a wonderful slate of potential grant finalists today. Your board, thankfully, they did a great job. The 5 considerations were the grant finalists were Open M, the Rotary Camp and Promise Village, Second Chance Village, South Akron Youth, the Well, and the Valor Home. So with that being said, our top grant recipient is the Rotary Camp and the Promise Village, so congratulations to the Rotary Camp. Then followed by Open M, and then the Well. So $15,000 was the amount that we had, and we offered 3 grants proportionately. Connor suggested, our financial analyst back there suggested dividing it proportionally, and we will offer to the Rotary Camp $6,200, and then to Open M $4,650, and then the Well $4,150. So again, to the board, congratulations, job well done, and to our wonderful Rotary Club. So any other quick announcements? If not, I'll turn it over to Connor, and he will introduce our beautiful and informative guest speaker this morning, or this afternoon, I guess I should say. Connor?
Thank you, Linda. All right. Well, Ginny, we're glad you could be here. We're sorry that Jerry's not feeling well, but hopefully she's on the mend here soon. As a result, it is my esteemed pleasure, maybe I'm saying that wrong, but it is my pleasure to introduce our esteemed guest. That's what I meant to say. Bridget Ambrisco. So Bridget is the executive director of the Akron Parks Collaborative, which is a nonprofit organization she co-founded in 2018 in partnership with the City of Akron. Previously, Bridget was the executive director of Friends of Metro Parks from 2011 to 2022, the director of volunteer programs with the Conservancy for Cuyahoga Valley National Park from 2008 to 2011, and executive director of Cascade Park Association from 2001 to 2008. She served on the boards of Torchbearers and the Akron Rotary Camp, and on the Interpretation Subcommittee for the Ohio Erie Canalway Association. She's the current president of the Board of Trustees for Spring Garden Waldorf School, where her children attend. Bridget has her BA from John Carroll University and an MA in Environmental Studies from the Maxine Goodman Levin College of Urban Affairs at Cleveland State University. She lives in Akron's Wallhaven neighborhood with her husband, 2 children, and dog. Bridget, you have an illustrious background. We're excited to hear from you. Thank you for being here.
Is that okay if I bring this?
Yeah, no, perfect. You want me to help you get this pulled up too?
Yeah, I mean, can you see me over this?
We can, yes, we can. I can adjust the camera if needed to. You're perfect right there.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, okay, gotcha. Hey, it's fun to be here. It's been a while since I've been to a Rotary meeting, but I do remember the 4-way test, so I felt pretty proud of myself for that. So thanks for inviting me to talk about Akron Parks Collaborative. I'm gonna get right into it. So there's a lot of parks organizations. He just rattled off a bunch that I have worked for. So it gets confusing, I think, and so that's kind of where I want to start, is who we are and who we're not. So Akron Parks Collaborative is the nonprofit Friends group that is connected to our city parks. Similar to the Conservancy, which supports our national park, and Friends of Metro Parks, we are the entity and the first entity to try to work with the city to revitalize our city parks. And in that, we are not the Metro Parks or Friends working on any of the Metro Parks. So a little bit about that, because I sort of get blank stares when I say city parks. typically. So you might be familiar with your own neighborhood park if you live in Akron. So Hardesty Park is one that most people know. That is my neighborhood park. But there are 161 city parks in Akron. These are everything from your large Hardesty Park or Reservoir Park in Goodyear Heights to a small triangle park that you might find in Highland Square. One that I know very well, used to live by, is Corson and Marvin. And so all of those are within the City Parks Department and are managed and maintained by the City of Akron. So one of the things I like to start with too is that many of you may talk to people from out of town, or a lot of you say, and I hear a lot, and the whole reason I live in Akron, Ohio, because I'm not from here, is because we have wonderful parks, right? So we have an amazing national park. We have amazing Summit Metro Parks. I love getting out on the trail and into the woods. When we say that, never has the City of Akron neighborhood parks been included in that same category. So when you talk to people about, oh, you should move here, our neighborhood parks are really terrible. And so that is what inspired me, because I am blessed to have a wonderful neighborhood park. But as you'll see from some of the pictures that I show, we have a lot of work to do. There's been decades of neglect in a lot of our urban parks, primarily in the parks that are in the poorest neighborhoods, that have the highest percentage of Black neighbors as well. And so that's what we're working on, is improving our neighborhoods by improving our neighborhood parks. So I'll get into this a little bit too, and this really resonated with me when we were talking about with my board, that it really does feel like a movement. Like there's so much that, hopefully you can see that there's a lot of text there, sorry. There is so much that a neighborhood park can do for a community. And that there really is a magic in your shared neighborhood park. A lot of you probably have followed what's happening with the Civic Commons at Summit Lake and in Lock 3, major renovations happening. And you know, that is a lot of how we have modeled our work as well. We want to make sure that the neighbors across the City of Akron have access to quality parks. So safe, quality parks are important for kids to play, grow, and learn, to actually relax, enjoy nature and beauty. And when I talk to residents, it's amazing that 99.9% of the time, they just want something beautiful and maintained. It's a place to exercise, it's free, and stay active and be outside, to connect with other neighbors as the commons in their own neighborhood, to address climate change, which continues to get worse, and to cool our city by by planting trees in our parks and providing open green space for people to relax in. And also to stimulate that neighborhood pride and vitality, so that they have pride in their park. It starts to be a catalyst for change in the rest of the parks, or rest of the neighborhood. So I'm going to talk about how we have done this. So in my introduction, I stated that we were founded in 2018, and we really hit the ground running. We had some great champions at the City of Akron, and I have never in my nonprofit career had the joy of sitting in a meeting and somebody says, so say we have like $250,000 and you can help work with the community to help make decisions on how we can spend that in their parks. And so in the beginning, we partnered with the Civic Commons, with the Knight Foundation, with the City of Akron to try to figure out, like, how are we gonna make this happen? And we came up with this idea of the Akron Parks Challenge. How many of you have heard of our challenge? Okay, we've got work to do. That's how I recognize you. Sometimes I don't know which part of my life I recognize people from. So we basically decided to put it out to the entire Akron community, make it really simple, give us your best idea for your neighborhood park and how you can work with us to engage the rest of your community around it. And in 2018, we tried to get the message out. We did far and wide, really hit the ground, working at community centers, through ward meetings, all kinds of places, and it paid off. We got 69 applications in the first year, which to us spoke volumes of the need that's out there and the desire that people that live in these neighborhoods want to engage and have some say over what happens in their neighborhood parks. So in the first year, we decided to go with 3 because we were able to get some extra funds from the Knight Foundation. And I'm going to walk through some of these so you see what I'm talking about and what the process is. But these are all of the parks that we've done. Elizabeth Park, which is in Cascade Valley, very close to the Mustel store, near and dear to my heart as well. Ohio Erie Canal Park, which is along it used to be called Park East, part of the Civic Commons. Jewett Park in Middlebury and Kerr Park in West Akron. And then currently we're working with Boss Park in University Park, as well as Higher Lions in Ellett. So one of the things that we found with the very first parks is that what we ended with was $100,000 per park. Goes really quickly, especially when you're talking about a public space and the expenses that are involved with that. So the neighbors we worked with, and they wanted to bring in more money. So each and every community that we've worked with has done their own work in bringing in additional capital funds. And so of the over $2 million that has been invested, 1.2 is from the city, and then we brought in an additional $877,000 in private funds over those 4 years. Yep. So the process looks like this, and then I'll walk through some pictures of what we've done. So typically around this time of year, we put out our application. So again, 2 simple Google form questions so that we make it super accessible with copies at community centers. And then we have, in the first couple of years, the selections and review was made by, through us, through the Civic Commons and Knight Foundation, all sitting around the table and looking at a variety of factors. And since then, we have built our board up so that we have a representative from every single ward in the city, and that is now our selection committee to make it as fair as possible. It is intense for these board members over a 3-month period, but it's, you know, I think we do it right, and that we have a very strict matrix of how we make those selections, and try as best we can to make them equitably. A lot of factors include, you know, when's the last time this park saw any improvement? What is the income level in this park? How ready are they to work with us to engage the community? How much can we depend on them to continue to help steward their parks as well? So once we get down to our 2, which is always a really hard decision, we start working with the community. So when we were founded, that was really our role. Was city recognizes they don't do that very well. And so they said, we need a partner to help us be the convener of the community. Can you do this? So that's really what we do is we're grassroots working with these communities, setting up core teams to help pull the rest of their community to then make decisions on how to spend that $100,000 plus whatever we're able to bring in. And then we use those decisions to make that data to make decisions within the budget. And it's amazing. We do get down to color details with these core groups. They really want to have that input as well. And then a lot of times they help with all the build days, which you'll see some pictures in a second. And then seventh is the ongoing stewardship piece, which is really key to our mission as well, is that we support Friends of X Park. There's, lots of grassroots groups throughout the city that have formed, mostly the challenge recipients, Friends of Chestnut Ridge Park, as was mentioned, that, do various things like program the space, help organize cleanup days, that sort of thing. It is ultimately the city's responsibility for the maintenance of the park, but by engaging communities, we're not only making them safer, but we're making them cleaner as well. Okay, hopefully you can see these. So I'm just going to go through a couple of these so you can get a sense of these parks. And if Dan, if I'm going too long, do that to me, because I'm not really paying attention. So Reservoir Park started with this really terrible playground under before on the left side there, and fenced in. That was a real thing that they like to do, I don't know, in the 70s or something. It was like put your kids in a playpen on the playground. I hate fences so much. So we, tore that down, and through the community, we built this new playground. They really wanted wood, and they wanted it to be more natural and nature play. And so we were able to do that at Reservoir Park and put in a zip line, which I don't have a picture of, but it is a cool zip line too. So this was some of the community engagement work that we did. We had, this is an ice cream social where we had lots of boards up for people to comment on, get a sense of what they like, what they don't like, what's their priority. Literally, here's a card, vote, so that we can, tally up what is the, overall biggest priority that each neighborhood has. So then you'll see in the bottom right there, that's our core team. Sharon Connor, who many of you may know her name. This was pre-council, but this really, I think, was the beginning of her run in a way, that, she got the confidence doing this project and then ran for council. So it's really awesome to have that kind of champion on our council as well. And we also did prototyping and events. So this was in conjunction with Night Out Against Crime in Reservoir Park, and probably one of the best attended, but we brought, we borrowed things, we brought things in to try to, create a plaza space. That's where they're sitting. That was one of the priorities. Like, what would this look like? What do you think? We brought in just stumps and logs for kids to play on, and man, did they love it. And so that helped inform the design of the playground as well. And then we just had, more boards and things to get that input, and make it a celebration in their neighborhood, and also get some input from the community. And then we were able to do a lot of different projects with community groups as well that were really interested in, they all want to do cleanups in April, May. And so we were able to engage different groups in doing that. And then, as mentioned, I'm president of the board at Spring Garden Waldorf School. So I was able to get the entire, I was not president at the time, but we were able to have the entire school come out for a day of service celebrating, I think it was 100 years of Waldorf education that year. And so they painted garbage cans, and it's kind of amazing, like what a nice fresh coat of paint can do on a garbage can. And it really actually had a huge impact on the trash level in the park, because people saw the garbage can now, I guess. So that was kind of fun too, as it was an art project for those 8th graders, and kind of in the same character of the park itself. And then they've started, one of the things that they wanted in their plaza was a fire pit. So we put a fire pit in there, and they've been able to do different community events there since, and it's really activated the space. Chestnut Ridge Park. So this amazing park, if you have not gone there, you need to go. It's a little gem in Kenmore. And it's a WPA era amphitheater. This is not here. You'll see a picture in a second. But one of the things that they wanted to do was a new playground. So you can kind of see the pictures here. We also had the community engaged in building the playground. You can sort of see the amphitheater on the right-hand side. They had a Shakespeare Day. One of the best little production I've seen. I think it was Rubber City. Do you remember?
I think it was Rotary City,
Yeah, I think it was Rubber City, but those kids were kind of amazing. It was like a shortened version of Midsummer Night's Dream. It was great. And then some neighbors later decided that they wanted to put in the disc golf. And so they paid for and put it all in. So it kind of starts to, like, once we start these projects, it's amazing then, like, who tags on to it and how we get more people involved. Cadillac Park is one of those tiny triangles. It was, before we got there, I wish I had a better before picture of it, because it was just a mode traffic island, essentially, very large one. But you can see on the right-hand side, we were able to improve it and make it just a beautiful space in a neighborhood. It's not a destination. It's just for the people that live there, and they love it. So we also have a little bit more flexibility than the city might in working with partners. So with this particular park, it's across the street and 1 block in from Bookdale CLC. So we were able to engage the masonry department. That's they have a masonry program there. And the kids built the brick walkways that are still in the best shape that I've seen several years later. It was a great learning experience for them as well. So I love that partnership. And then Elizabeth Park, which is in Cascade Valley underneath the Y Bridge. This is a very big focal area for basketball. And so one of the things that they wanted was glass backboards. We gave them glass backboards. We took them too literally. So this, some of the things that we do discover through this process is what works and what doesn't work, and glass backboards in a public park does not work. Especially when there's like a little pile of rocks really close by. So we have replaced them since with plexiglass, which is what they meant in the first place, I guess. But lesson learned, and that's become kind of the go-to now for the basketball courts across the city. And people love it. This is a real focal area where, we hope to organize tournaments and things like that in this area. This was another one where they wanted nature play. So this park is unfortunate in that it has a somewhat busy street that intersects it. And so one of the concerns of a lot of the parents in this community was they wanted to take their kids while they're playing basketball, but the kids, of course, want to go to the playground that's across the street. And so we decided we couldn't change the street, but we ended up putting a playground on the same side as the basketball court to try to answer that problem. And so now there's a nice little nature playground and a different playground across the street as well. And then pavilions was another big desire that they had, place for shade. So a lot of older folks in that neighborhood that wanted just a place to relax and a grill for family gatherings and such. So again, this is kind of some of the engagement that we did with Elizabeth Park. I wish I had the picture here. One of our core team members and I just went out there one day and made a big free pizza sign and stood there on Lod Street and got people to come talk to us about what they wanted in their park as well. And then we had lots of cleanup days. The one where you see the backside of some children is where they helped us design the playground. So we had a session with them where they got to draw their ideas and think about and dream about their space. And that helped inform the design of the playground as well. Kerr Park, this one is in West Akron off Copley Boulevard. And so we did work a bit, if you've heard of Great Streets. We are trying to combine efforts a little bit to improve that business district at the same time as improving the park and making connections both ways. The before picture, that playground was boarded up, burnt out. I think they tried to set the slide on fire at one point, so it was kind of melted and disfigured. But we rebuilt it, and it was an actual kaboom project, if you've heard of that. Most of you are nodding, good. So we got the community engaged and involved, and I was just there yesterday, and there's just kids everywhere, and there was like a group of kids who all biked there from, their houses in the neighborhood, and they're all hanging out and playing on the playground, and it was just fun to see that, because I don't think people were using it, and it wasn't safe. A lot of parents wouldn't let their kids go there because they, found some things in the playground mulch that weren't safe, like needles and things like that. So this playground got rubber surfacing for that reason. The neighborhood was really adamant about that, so we were able to provide that for them. Jewett Park, how am I doing on time? Okay, decent, okay, I'll keep going. I'm almost done. So Jewett Park is in the Middlebury neighborhood, and so we had a lot of different partners on this project. This is really the only green space in their neighborhood. And it was, as you can see, it was just sort of an old playground with kind of a trail and a little back entry that was a little bit scary. So we worked with a lot of different organizations in that neighborhood. One, the main partner was Links Family and Support Services, I think is their name. And so they really know the neighborhood well, and we got a lot of input door to door, had lots of different events and that type of thing to get input. And they were definitely not okay with $100,000. This ended up being $270,000. So that was the extra funds that we were able to bring in for this project. And they helped build that playground. We had 3 exhausting days of working on this playground and the landscaping, but they were all involved and engaged. It was kind of a fun community event to see their park completely transformed. Oh, and so again, these kind of fun little side projects that we have the flexibility to do. On the left, you'll see the Buchtel students again. We were able to bring them over to Jewett Park, and they built the little columns that add quite a bit to the class in the park. And then we worked with John Communell, a local artist, to create that's a bike rack that says Jewett at the front. So it's just, they really want it to be colorful and fun. And then a little bike fix-it station as well. And you can see the blimp flew over on one of our work days. So if you can see that up there on the screen, we captured that. But a lot of what they wanted was just beautiful landscaping. Let me go back for just a second. So one of the things with Jewett Park and Links, having a neighborhood group like that, they have a youth ambassador program that we're going to continue to work with and fund them to help maintain the park. So it's a big sort of risk putting in all of these new flower beds, and they also put in some raised beds for vegetable gardens. But we have a partnership worked out with this group so that there's maintenance throughout the summer as well, which is becoming more and more important. So we just finished up a strategic plan, and this is sort of where we're going through till 2025. A lot of you hadn't heard of the challenge. I'm sure you haven't heard of Akron Parks Collaborative, so we have our work cut out for us doing things like this, but getting the word out and telling the story of why neighborhood parks are so essential. They're not just nice to have anymore. We actually need quality parks in our neighborhoods. So we're really working on improving our organizational capacity and communicating what we're doing and why it's so important. We're also really working on putting a little bit more structure to our Friends of Parks groups and neighborhood organizations that we partner with along the way, and really having that constituency throughout the city so that regardless of who the next mayor is, that we have constituency and residents that are speaking up and saying that parks are important. We plan to grow and develop our Parks Challenge program because it's been a huge success, and then strengthen our relationship with the city. We're currently working with them on putting together the first ever citywide parks master plan. It's never been done, and so we're starting to work on making that happen and having a consultant selected by the end of the year so that we have a plan that helps us equitably address our city parks over the next decade or two. So I would love to take any questions or reactions that you have. And thank you for your time.
Bridget, thank you. Fantastic, thank you so much. Yes, take a few questions here.
So are there any plans, so obviously with the Civic Commons, the Margaret Park area, I don't think there's been a lot of communication, like kind of what is there a plan for that space? Like, do we know, are you a part of that? Is that?
I am not as involved with the Civic Commons. It's sort of been, that is the focus of Ohio and Erie Canalway Coalition, is working on the Summit Lake area and Lock 3. And so we're just sort of working on all the other neighborhoods right now.
The other question I have is, so like there's a lot of small areas, so obviously Kenmore, so off Manchester Road, there's like, there's an area, I don't know if you know where there's a big stone wall that goes out Clearview, anyways, but like that area it's not really a park, but it's a lot of green space that like really needs like help. I mean, would you be the organization that you reach out, that the community reaches out to try to like, because I think we've got funding to like do the cleanup. It's just really trying to get some, you know, some city support for that.
Yeah.
You know, trimming the trees and things like that, and planting some trees. Like, I guess, how do you go about that kind of?
Definitely get in contact with me. If it's city property, we can, okay, then we can definitely, you know, make some inroads, I think, and see if it's even in, it might already be listed as a park. Okay. But we can connect you, we can connect with the right people to have those discussions.
To like even do the work, and so we talked about using Keep Akron Beautiful to help us,
Mhm.
but that's not really their mission either. It is, but it's not, you know, like, I think she would do it as a favor, but.
Yeah, no, I think we should look at it, and especially if there aren't other parks that are close to that area.
It's across from the lake, so like to clean it up, it would just be a really nice.
Yep. Let's definitely talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Susan.
Yeah, I'd just like to commend you and the work you're doing because, you know, outside, outdoors, all of that, so important for kids. And, you know, I remember growing up, we had the school park or playground on one side, then we had the woods and the streams and all of that on the other, and I was just wondering, in urban areas, do you have possibilities for, you know, sort of the wild part of parks?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for asking that question. That, we are trying to infuse our parks with more wild spaces, that we call them. We did do a little kind of pilot project in Hardesty Park in 2020 when we didn't do the challenge. And that was creating a pollinator garden and then also putting up bat house and Martin Condo and, things like that, that we're trying to encourage the wildlife to come back. And I agree. I think that that's really important. And communities say that's important too, is that connection to the natural world, that they, might not go to their metro park or have that. And so we are trying to create like little micro wild spaces throughout our parks. Yeah.
Any other questions in here or online? Okay. All right, well, Bridget, thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming in. We have for you just a little thank you note and then a commemorative Rotary token from the Imagine theme for the 2022-23 Rotary year. So thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it, Bridget.
Thanks for having me.
Great job. Thanks. Thank you. That was excellent to hear about our community. It went along with what Doug said in his invocation this morning. So thank you so much. Just a couple updates. Wanted you to know, I just reached, if you all remember John Daly, I hope. So I reached out to Jack Herrick. Hopefully you've been following along. John is not doing well. And this is what Jack sent to me today. He said, John is resting well. He's sedated. He's not eating. He is preparing for a peaceful passing. His son, Mark, is here with him. And Jack Herrick visited this morning, and he said that John feels peaceful and comfortable. So please keep John Daly in your prayers. He's a long time Rotarian, 50 years plus perfect attendance. So John will sorely be missed, but again, a very special and dear Rotarian. So thank you for that. On another note, we have, I think Tax Day is next week, is it not? April 15th? So just a pleasant reminder, and then to add a little caveat to that, your dues are going to be, a letter will be sent out just to have you have something else to read. So we did have to raise the dues just a little bit. Be prepared. A couple years ago, we decided to do it on a sliding scale to up our dues to be more in line with what expectations are from Rotary International. So FYI, your letter will be forthcoming and your dues will be $361. So FYI in that one. And then Paul, let's end on a high. Tell us about the symphony. So please tell us, let's leave with something joyous in our heart. Tell us some good news about the symphony. Tell us about Saturday night. Tell us about Saturday night.
Saturday night, we're about to stage the largest concert we've ever done, I think, ever. We're going to set up the stage tomorrow. We don't even know if all the musicians and correspondents are going to fit, but we're doing such a large piece this weekend. It's a piece called Gustav Mahler's Symphony No. 3. It's 100 minutes long. We're performing it without intermission. It is an absolute roller coaster of emotions. Takes you highs, lows through the entire human experience through a musical journey. I've been looking forward to this for 10 years.
Wow.
We're going to make an effort to attempt to stage it this weekend. I'll feel better tomorrow once I know it's going to fit.
Okay,
And,
good.
Yeah, Hasito is coming. We have a number of people are coming to our rehearsals this week. If you're interested in how this stuff works behind the scenes, this is one to come to and see what it's like on how we throw this all together.
Great. Yeah. So Saturday night, EJ at 7:30. So tickets are still available.
We have some tickets still available.
Okay, very good. Okay. Any other announcements? If not, Bridget, thank you again for coming. It was a pleasure. Please come back again. We would love to have you here with us. So nothing else. Meeting is adjourned. Have a great day.